Good afternoon and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. The breaking news this afternoon, as far as Celtic fans are concerned, Peter Lawwell is to stand down as chairman of Celtic Football Club. The Rebels have won, one down, a few to go. Celtic Football Club today can announce that non-executive Chairman Peter Lawwell has decided to step down from the board of Celtic plc with effect of the 31st of December 2025. Let's just get the Celtic statement up on the screen so you can all see exactly what has been said. As fantastic news. A lot of people will this help appease the fans? Is the big thing going forward? Will it help appease the fans? Current Celtic non-executive director Brian Wilson will take up the role of interim chairman from that point until a permanent appointment is made. Get Martin O'Neill in the job. Martin O'Neill for non-executive director. It's absolutely fantastic. Peter joined the club as a chief executive in 2003. He served the club for 18 years in this role. Peter returned to the club in a different role in 2023. Peter didn't join the club in 2003. This is the Celtic lie, man. Peter Lawwell joined Celtic under the Whites and Kellys originally. But Peter Lawwell said, oh, I love it. Peter Lawwell said, "It's with sadness that I announced my decision to stand down as chairman of Celtic FC. I believe that in my 18 years as chief executive and 3 years as chairman of the club, I have shown my ability to meet and overcome challenges on many fronts. But the abuse and the threats from some sources have increased and are now intolerable. Fucking bollocks. They have dismayed and alarmed my family at this stage of my life. I don't need this. I cannot accept this, so I have to leave the club that I have loved all my life," says Peter Lawwell. The motivations and the aims of these detractors can be investigated by others. I prefer to look back on my career at Celtic with deep gratitude and satisfaction. My time at the club has brought some joy to some of those memories as a Celtic fan. Can include standing as a schoolboy on the terrace on a European Cup was paraded at Celtic Park in that magical night in 1967. I have subsequently watched some great European nights at Paradise, and I'm proud that the club has played group stage football in all of but 2 of the last 21 years while enjoying domestic dominance. That was your issue, Peter. You were all about domestic dominance. You weren't about taking Celtic forwards in the bigger European stage. And then you see the statement does go on. Peter has witnessed 38 cup triumphs, title triumphs at his time at the club, a period of extraordinary domestic dominance. For us, we'll also have competed in European football. Peter has also seen the overseeing of the building of our training centre at Lennoxtown, the creation of the new facility at Barrowfield, and the upgrading of Celtic Park. Which part did you upgrade at Celtic Park, mate? You might want to tell us it. Chief Executive Michael Nicholson has his say. It's a sad day for Celtic. The abuse, the threats directed towards Peter and his family are completely unacceptable. Such conduct will never be tolerated by the club. I hope that there will be respect for Peter's privacy and family life moving forward. I hope so too. I hope he gets to enjoy his retirement in Portugal and he can top up his tan till his heart's content. Under the leadership of the club, there have been many achievements off and on the pitch. And then it goes on, I would like to thank Brian Wilson for accepting the role of interim chairman and taking over from Peter on the 1st of January. We look forward to working with Brian as the board considers future composition and succession. Bring back Martin O'Neill for that job. That is saddest day for a while? I don't think so. I think it's a day that many Celtic fans over the years. Peter Lawwell should never have came back to Celtic. You know, he should have left when he did. Um, as they said, you know, I don't think it was. You can understand why he came back, but returning to the club in 2023, we were upgraded the dugouts. I think that's all he upgraded was the dugouts. Now, some people will say that it is a sad end to Peter Lawwell's reign at Celtic. Me, for one, I think that when he left um, after the 2020 scenario of the COVID year, he should have just went into retirement and just left it at that. Do you know? I think there was always the no love lost between him and Brendan Rodgers. There was it was like the War of the Roses with him and Brendan Rodgers. The two of them didn't like each other. They didn't get on. His comments are still used as an excuse. He's starting to admit that he fucked up, says Joseph Davidson. Let's jump on to. Let's just leave that up here. As Peter Lawwell. Now, there was speculation that Celtic, Peter Lawwell, was going to stand down at the recent AGM, which he didn't. Will this affect January transfers? No, it won't. It won't affect. It won't even affect the day-to-day running of the business. Peter Lawwell, as chairman, is there as a father figure. He's meant to be there as one that can bring together warring factions within any organisation, and he failed at that dramatically at the AGM. He decided to shut down the. Do you think that Martin O'Neill would be interested? I think so. It would be a position where he doesn't have to be in the building 7 days a week, 5 days a week. And I think it's the type of position that would allow him. It's someone that would bridge the gap between the fans and the chairman. And I think that if Martin O'Neill fancied the role, I think that Celtic should just go and speak to Martin O'Neill. Speak to him. You need someone like Martin O'Neill that can bring people together at a time of crisis. Peter Lawwell was never had the ability to bring people together. He was very divisive in his long career at Celtic. And yes, you can give yourself a pat on the back for the business doing well, for business creating profit, blah, 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 blah. But it's not really the chairman. It's not really the finance officer. That comes down to the manager and players. And what about thanking the fans? What about thanking the fans for spending 32 million on merchandise? What about thanking the fans and their families for spending records amount of money on merchandise over the years? You would never get that from Celtic. I mean, people will say, looking at it from his point of view, and and especially when you think about what happened to his driveway, and when he left Celtic the last time, he's very divisive. He's gone. He's not in the building on a day-to-day basis. He turns up to watch the football, and that's it. That should be Martin O'Neill's job. That should be someone that knows the club inside out. That's should be a football man at the head of the company that's the father figure, in my honest opinion. And I think that going forward, it would be absolutely fantastic if we were to approach Martin O'Neill. Now, you might get some people that will say, we need a business type minded person to be chairman. You don't. The chairman of the football club does absolutely nothing. He's there just to fucking sign things at AGMs. That's it. Let's jump into some of the comments and see what people are saying. There's a super chat came in from James. Doesn't say nothing in the super chat. Just a fantastic super chat though, James. Does anyone know who will take over? Nope. They will look at it. A lot of people saying it's great news. One down, meant to go too soon. Well, let's hope not. A lot of travelling for old Martin. Is it a lot of travelling though? Because you jump up and you get the train up. Have a nice peaceful journey up on the train. You could fly up. I'm sure Dermot Desmond wouldn't mind paying for I mean, getting the train up or getting the plane up from London, it's like getting a bus in this day and age. You know, I know a lot of guys who travel over from Ireland to Glasgow on a weekly basis. They're of working age, but it would be interesting to see who they bring in, and whoever they bring in or whomever they bring in. Um, we'll just need to wait and see until the new year. Will it affect anything? Him and his family have been threatened. I don't condone that by any means. I don't condone any members of the family being targeted whilst there's this turmoil within the club. Um, they've nothing to do with it. As long as Tisdale's supercomputer survives. Let's hope not. I said months ago about Martin O'Neill on the board. Yeah, you did, Jim. Martin's having a coffee just now. Shall we call him? If only. If only. Um, no apology for wasting money paying HMRC instead of player investment. Well, you've always got to pay your taxes, mate. You can't. You've got to pay the HMRC, or you go down the road of another. Um, I heard this morning he was going and raised the point. Boom, he's gone. Just reading some of the comments. Free the Green Brigade. That'll be interesting to see. I'd pay for Martin's daily coffee just to have him back at Celtic. The thing is, I mean, it is the type of position that, I mean, Martin travels all over for football anyway. When he's given the opportunity and he's getting paid for it. I think that no, it was further down. It was further down in Mihas, mate, which is about 50 minutes drive from us. It was done in Mihas. Tornado that ripped up all the Christmas decorations. But anyway, that's another channel. Yeah, getting Martin O'Neill back for me would be not only a fantastic gesture, but would it be a sensible gesture, and would it appease the fans bringing in someone like Martin O'Neill to Celtic? Because this is what we've been standing. I mean, I've been saying for about a week now, we need alternatives to who's going to be in place. Now, we might not get to pick the alternative for that position, but if there's a fan movement that wants Martin O'Neill in some capacity at the high level of Celtic Football Club, and hopefully Martin O'Neill sees this. I mean, if there's a big call from it, let's do a quick poll. Yeah, would you like Martin O'Neill in the club as chairman? There's a poll. This will go one way. It's just going to go boomf. Everyone will say yes to it. But I think if we can, as fans, get a concerted effort to getting Martin O'Neill in at that high level, would that be enough to appease the fans? The more money you hold in the tax, the more money you pay to HMRC. No, it's not. It's profit. You're paid on profit, mate. Nothing else. You pay your tax on profit, not money that's sitting in the bank. You can't pay profit on money sitting in the bank for 2 years. But anyway, that's another question. Would you like to give? Would Martin O'Neill give up his TV work? Yeah, I think he would. It gives him his opportunities to watch Celtic. It gives him an opportunity to help build something, and it gives him some. Martin O'Neill spoke about he doesn't have a legacy. He spoke about the fact that there's only one person that's ever stepped foot in Celtic Football Club that has a legacy, and that's Jock Stein. Everyone else is in his shadow. Every single manager, every single Martin O'Neill, he said that we're all in the shadow of Jock Stein. Whoever takes on Celtic manager will always be in the shadow of Jock Stein until, if by some unbelievable turn of events, Celtic were to manage to win either the Europa, but it would have to be the Champions League, to step out that shadow of the great Jock Stein. But Martin O'Neill could go down even further. He's enhanced his legacy. He's enhanced his legacy at Celtic over the past, well, up until 10, 11 days ago. Over the last 6 weeks, he enhanced it even more. He spoke about the fact that he loved his time at the club. He spoke about the fact that he enjoyed not having to take the training. It was the younger guys that took the training. He also said at the AGM he wished he had stood up and had said something, but it wasn't his place to stand up and say something to try and calm the audience down. If it's his job as chairman, when it comes to AGMs, I think that the fan base would be a lot more tolerant of the board. Now, there could still be heads to be rolled at Celtic, Isdale, and a few of the other ones, but you're never going to get rid of Dermot Desmond. So what's the next best thing about getting someone in that can maybe stand up to Dermot Desmond and he's not going to be a whipping boy, that could say, look, there has to be a football mind at the top of it, because we've ran the business with these so-called business people at the top for 20 odd years, and okay, well, it's been fine trebles and doubles and everything that they've listed with Peter Lawwell being at the helm. Europe is where we've fallen down. Martin O'Neill was the one and only manager to take us to that glorious day, night in Seville, although it haunted him for the rest of his days. I think bringing in Martin O'Neill after Peter Lawwell would be a fantastic thing. But would he take up the post at 73 years old? That's the big one. That is the big one. Any chairman does nothing but head meetings. Yeah, I know that. Feather. Brian Wilson will be interim chairman until successor is appointed. Yes, that is written in this. Christmas come early. Martin O'Neill incoming. Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so. This is the day. Will that be enough to get the fans in fine voice tonight? Yeah, we're about 45 minutes away from me house. Made up threats. Incoming Dermot Desmond. Tell the Huns about taxis. Definitely. Nancy's getting sacked. He's here for the next two transfer windows. Nancy isn't getting sacked. Yeah, I think that he ended up in a saint parade in Nerher after the game. Thank God I didn't leave the house then. I was back home for it anyway. It's great that he's gone. Just reading some of the comments. I think we'll win tonight. Will that be enough? Will it be enough tonight for the fans to be in fine voice and back the support, back the team like we need it? Because let's face it, we've got one down. There still are two to go from the board. Will the resignation of Peter Lawwell from Celtic be enough to appease the Celtic fans collective? It makes tonight even more tastier, doesn't it? Because there's one thing for sure. I'm sure the fans will be in fine voice tonight as we take on Dundee United. Make sure that you join me an hour and a half before the game this evening, where we get the team news. Yes, the joyous team news from the one and only Wilfred Nancy. Who will we play in what position? Will he start with Sinisalo? There's a lot of talk that he's not happy with Kasper Schmeichel. Neither are the fans. On that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are around the world. Peter Lawwell is to stand down as Celtic chairman. The Rebels have won. Have a fantastic evening, wherever you are, all around the world.